morning. It's Thursday of week 6, I guess, in our class. Gonna have a short video today on customer focus. You need to have your book out. I hope you have your book when you do turn on the videos anyway. This is coming from chapter 7, the customer and competitors. So one thing that I noticed is that some of you are trying to create businesses that focus on what your interests are, which is good. It should make the project more fun. But at the same time, you should probably think more about the customer, because the customer is the one that you need to sell to. You may get lucky, and what you like is what the customers will like. I mean, I'm talking about a real business now. I mean, you might get lucky and say, okay, I think that if I make this kind of bubble tea, that people will come and they will like it. But I think most of us have recognized that a lot of businesses change, especially small businesses in Ho Chi Minh City. As you go down the street, if you go down the street for a few years, you'll probably notice about 20–25% of the businesses turn over. Some of those businesses had really good ideas, maybe a bad location. Some of them just offered something that people didn't really figure out that they wanted. I don't know who wants to go to Hot Pot Story. Why would I go to Hot Pot Story when I can go to all these good hot pots that are just like normal Tiem or outside, or something that's, I know from Vietnamese, from the past, there's a lot of hot pots here already. So why do I want to go to some chain hot pot that's going to be more expensive? So some ideas just don't seem like they really focus or understand the customers. One of our, you have to think about the customers, what they expect when they go into a restaurant. I'll give an example. Maybe you've seen the restaurant chain Kam Tam Cali. I think when I read Cali, it's California, that's where I'm from. But I also think about, if I think about a Vietnamese rice restaurant, it's called Kam Tam Cali, I tend to think of it as, it's Viet Q, somebody who's Viet Q, and they come back to Vietnam and they want to open up a restaurant, and they think, oh, okay, I know how to do this. I mean, it's a fast food rice restaurant. It's as American as apple pie. Everyone in America knows how to run a fast food restaurant. So you come back to Vietnam and you open your restaurants. First it's purple and yellow. I'm not sure why those colors are very, I don't know. I don't see too many purple and yellow businesses. So I guess it stands out, but it also might be colors that people don't really feel are attractive. But what really stands out to me, and the biggest difference is 90% of the rice restaurants that I see here are usually showing the cooks, the cooking procedure, or the cooked food. I get to see something before I order it. Now, subconsciously, most of you probably don't even think about it because it's natural to see the food before you eat it. But when you go into Kam Tali and you realize, Kam Tam Cali, you go in and you're like, where's the kitchen? Who's making this food? Where does it come from? And it's all very kind of weird to sit at a table where there's no food around and then all of a sudden you have food coming to you. That's kind of a surprise, right? I mean, I noticed it right away, and I think that as, used to it as Vietnamese customers are, I think it's not really the best way to meet them. You need to show the cook. People want to see the cook. They want to see the food. It's kind of a tourist restaurant, but the non-restaurant down in District 1, they have different kinds of cuisine or different kinds of Vietnamese food, so you can kind of sample different kinds from different places. And they have chefs all around the restaurant. So you eat in the middle and then there's people cooking all around you. So Vietnamese. So, you know, if I was going to start a restaurant, I would keep that in mind. I would keep what the customers expect in mind. I never saw Come Tam Cali really busy. Maybe it's got a shipper service, I don't know. Anyway, the first line in chapter 7 says, customers buy for their reasons, not yours. And that's exactly what I'm saying. You have to understand why the customer is buying your product, especially in a niche market. So, the customer, today's customer is time poor and quite information technology aware. They can quickly make decisions on purchases, and it's becoming more challenging for businesses to gain the attention of potential customers. A clear customer focus and awareness of the buying motives. Motives means reasons. The buying motives is therefore essential for your business. So I'm going to play this video now and then I'll break it down afterwards. Customer-centric means to focus on the customer, so it's the same thing. It's only 3 minutes. Let's check it out.
Customer centricity. It's key for every business. Customer centricity equals more loyalty, equals more sales. And what company doesn't enjoy the prospect of a fatter bottom line? But while customer centricity is a great idea in theory, but putting it into action is harder than you think. For one thing, pinpointing what customers want is hard. Putting that change into action is even harder. Let's say you pull off the impossible and wrestle those essential changes into place. Your customers are quite happy, but no one else is. You see, change is hard on everyone, and it costs their departments money, time, and sometimes even status. So if you're the one championing the idea of a more customer-centric company, how do you sell your board, your investors, and your fellow employees on a hard idea? Well, you listen to us, and you start here. Number 1, get your management team on board. Customer centricity does cost money now, but it makes more money later, lots more. Get out the calculator, the whiteboard, and that statistician you keep in the closet, and prove that happy customers buy more, are more loyal, and they bring their friends. Number 2, connect to your customer. When was the last time you answered a survey honestly? Now you won't find out what your customers want by throwing paper at them. Get out there and ask them what's bothering them, and then do the work of figuring out a smart solution for them. Number 3, build a customer movement. If customer-centric changes were like fairy dust, well, you'd be watching a magical transformation happen right before your eyes. But since you live in the real world, you're going to need some people in your corner helping everyone understand why enthusiastically embracing customer centricity makes showing up for work a lot more fun. Make it easy for them by finding customer-focused employees at all levels in your company, building them up as champions, and putting them in the spotlight. Maybe even give them a nice shiny hat to wear. You see, that's when you'll see the whole company start to embrace customer centricity. Because while no one likes difficult and expensive, everyone likes happy customers, high praise, and a shiny hat. Oh, and impressive profits. Everyone likes those too. So are these steps making sense to you? Well, we're just getting started. If you believe in customer centricity, or you're just now starting to see that Peter from marketing might have a point about how focusing on the customer can help your company grow next quarter, well, you're going to need a lot more help. And probably some specifics on how to do it. And maybe some examples on how the biggest customer leaders have achieved it over the last few years. It's a good thing Alan Tace has a new book out covering all that. So you want to be customer-centric? You'll want to click that link then. This book will show you how.
Anyway, it's kind of a promotional thing. It's not my book. But I think that we can see that, or at least you can see that it really does take a kind of mindset, you know. If you were the first person to build a mobile phone, sure, you're going to have all the customers, and eventually you're going to, I guess one way, well, I'll give a better example. Let's say you're Nokia and you're in 2005, 2006. You're number one. Everybody's got a Nokia phone. You can drop them 1,000 times. People like the durability of them. They like to have a choice in the styles. There's so many different kinds of hardware of Nokias. Every time you go to the shop, there are like 15 different styles of phone to choose from. Eventually though, one of the things that they never really figured out is to do the touch screen. They didn't make it. They were like, no, they were just really slow. The early touch screens were pretty bad, but by the time the iPhone came out, it was clear that not only was the screen a little bit bigger, but the touch screen was everything. Everybody wanted a touch screen. And you can see how Apple switched gears. They focused on software and not hardware, and they figured out that the customers really want to use their phone for many different things. It's not just about style, not just about, there was only one iPhone, right? iPhone had its one design, one shape, and it focused on functionality more than anything else. And you can also see that once a customer gets used to a certain system, like an operating system, or Android, or Apple iOS, it's hard for them to switch. So if they're happy with what they're getting, they don't want to switch. I know now that Apple, for example, I don't feel they really serve me as a customer because I don't buy enough phones fast enough. My phone is still old, so they got a lawsuit recently for on purpose slowing down old models of iPhones, making them harder to use. Every time they upgrade their system, they make your phone harder to use, and there's all kinds of little tricks to that. And so they're actually trying to drag the customer into not liking their phone, so they upgrade. But they also know that you're used to using their system, so it's hard for you to switch to Android. So they think that they can convince you to buy a new Apple phone. So, I mean, it's manipulative and it's quite negative the way they treat their customers in many cases, but since they are focused on you, they're looking at the way you behave and trying to move your behavior. So, customer focus means that you're really caring about the user interface. Like if you make a website, you care about how functional it is, and we all know what happens when a website is difficult to use or it doesn't make sense. How complicated that can be. So customer focus means making things easy to use. It also means making them easy to understand. It means anticipating the customer's problems before they happen. So the customer, I'm going to read the definition. And we should know the difference between customer and consumer. A consumer is somebody who buys a product. So somebody who buys a mobile phone is a consumer. There's the consumers of mobile phones, that's the market. Customer is a one business. I'm an Apple customer. I buy Apple iPhones, but I'm a consumer of mobile phones. So mobile phone is the industry, and customer is you or your competition. A consumer is a person, group of people or organizations which each uses some product or service of a particular business enterprise. A customer is also someone who makes use of some products or services, however they use a specific business, returning there frequently and making a habit of using that business. That's called customer loyalty. The customer experience is all the interactions that the customer has with the business and its product or services, from the initial interest right to the final sale and after-sale service. So if a business has a warranty, which is a promise that they'll fix something for 6 months or a year, and they don't follow through with their promise, that would affect possibly how you decide to buy that product in the future. If your first interaction with the company is that they don't really care about the customers, I mean, that was true. That was true at Vietnam Airlines. Vietnam Airlines used to have a monopoly, and you go to their office and there'd be 6,000 people sitting there with numbers for hours. Now you don't have to do that, right? You know, you can either go online, or if you go to another company, there's competition in the market. Why should I wait for this forever if I'm gonna have a choice? The customer experience is all of the interactions that the customer has with the business and its product or service. All the interactions from the beginning, brand image, availability, marketing and promotional campaigns, availability, associations, where they put their products, what kind of stores they sell them in, buying the product, opening it, knowing how to use it, how user-friendly it is, durability, how long it lasts, what kind of problems it gives you while you're using it, meeting expectations for all those things. And then if you have a problem with the product, how available is the company for complaints? I don't know, I'll compare Grab and Go Viet. Grab, they've gotten a little bit better, but on the upside of Grab, there seems to be more bikes. So if I'm in a real hurry, I will try, you know, and it's an off time, I don't know. Go Viet, I guess, is getting a little bit better in that way, but Grab seems to have more people working for them. Their maps don't seem as good though, and so it's harder sometimes to get them to find your address. Grab also has a customer service hotline, so if there's a problem, there's someone you can talk to try to solve it. They used to make it difficult. They had drivers that were, you know, you couldn't communicate with the drivers, so now they have updated text messages in English and Vietnamese that translate, so if you want to contact the driver with a short message, you can. So there's some good and bad, but also the team when you call, if you have to call the hotline and ask a question, often you have to give like 4 pieces of identification, and it takes a long time for them to solve the problem, so it's not very easy to use that. Although it's good to have the option. In Go Viet, they have better maps, they don't have as many drivers, so if you have a little extra time, it's also cheaper, right? So we like that. There's no hotline to call, so if you have a problem with a Go Viet driver, you have to just cancel and start over again. And sometimes they cancel on you. Oh, I'll give you another example though. Okay, Grab has cars, Go Viet doesn't, they just have bikes. If you use a car in Grab, sometimes they have to leave off another customer before they come and pick you up. It's fine, but they can cancel and you don't know. So sometimes they'll drop the first customer off. You wait 5 minutes already, and then their driver cancels you, and then you have to start over again. That makes you very upset. So those are those kind of services. And like I said, Grab has improved. They've gotten better. Their drivers seem to be able to find the addresses a little bit better. The helmets have improved a little bit, not much actually, but a little. So there's a lot of it's a real customer service driven business, and if there's more competition in that motorbike service, there definitely would be, you know, the choices customers make would be important. I prefer to use Go Viet right now because it's cheaper and they know where to find me. The addresses are easier to find. I don't have to talk to them on the phone. Grab always wants to talk to me. They want to talk to me. They know from my name that I'm foreign. And yet they want to talk to me. I write them text messages in Vietnamese and they want to call me and talk. And I'm like, I can't talk. I can talk, but I don't want to talk to you on the phone. That's the last thing I want to do. Why don't you just come to the dot? You know, why don't you? I don't know. And why are their maps not improved so their drivers have an easier time of it? So there's a lot of elements to customer focus in that kind of service business, especially. In terms of products, yeah, well, when it comes to products, you have to think about what the choices the customers are going to make. I mean, it's fun to make your own flavors. I'll give you a disappointment. I hate the alley, you know this, but I hate the alley. There are pictures of their drinks always look really great, great photography, but when you order the drink, unless you pay for like 3 or 4 different add-ons, you never get the drink in the picture, ever. Starbucks, when they show you the drink, they make sure you get the drink in the picture, so you feel good about it. It's expensive, sure, of course, you know that, but you expect the picture. The alley is still kind of expensive, even with no add-ons, and you don't get the picture, so you're just kind of like, wow. This is a miserable gift I bought for, my wife. Here's a very normal bubble tea. It looked great in the picture. Here's a picture of it. This is what I wanted to get you, this incredible, amazing picture of melting sugar. And they don't really ask you properly when you're ordering. They don't say like, you point at the picture and they're like, okay, and then they give you the bad one. So I don't know. So customer focus includes all of these products and services. All right, I'll look at the example. A transcription service business working out of Perth has customers in every state in Australia. Transcription means to take an audio recording and print it out into words. They offer a secure website where customers can upload electronic files, which are typically records of meetings or interviews. Within a 24-hour turnaround time, the business has downloaded the recording, transcribed it, typed it, and emailed it back to customers. This provides a positive customer experience as requirements for lower cost and a quick return are met by the company. So they know their customers, they know that they have to pass out the record of the meeting within a day or two of the meeting. So they know they have to turn around quickly and that that's valued by the customer. Okay. So that's what we're talking about, adding value to a customer's experience. I'm on page 72 now. I turn the page. A business can add value by ensuring that employees are well trained, so training comes into it, and that they understand the importance of what the customers want. The customers often put your name on the drink in a lot of places. They want to be able to call out your name instead of saying like, hey, you in the corner when your drink is ready. Customer focus ensures that the consumer of that product has a positive experience of the business and gains what is required to satisfy their needs for the interaction or in the interaction. So we know that customers have a certain expectation when they start a new relationship with a business, and so whether or not you're able to maintain that expectation is really going to determine how much loyalty you have from that customer. We can see how customers react. Like I gave that example last video, or maybe 2 videos ago, that when you look at the reviews of hotels, I always look at hotel reviews before I go to a hotel. It's very confusing because everybody has different expectations and requirements. So some people say, it's fantastic, this hotel did everything that I expected it to do. It's a perfect hotel for someone with this budget. And you're like, oh, okay. The next person is like, it was miserable, the closet door didn't work, the shower wasn't as hot as I wanted it to be, there was no, silk in the room. Their expectation was too high, or maybe it was supposed to be that high, but somebody's expectation can be much different from another customer's expectation. Maybe they thought they were in a luxury hotel, but it was really just a hotel that was near the beach, and that's the only reason they sold that. That was their benefit they got from that. So when we're thinking about these kind of features and benefits, for me, I want to be close to the beach and I want a reasonable price. I don't want to spend my whole day in the hotel anyway. I just want to have my stuff there and be able to go around and have fun. That's my point of it. But for some people, they love the hotel experience. They spend so much time in their hotel. Maybe they only go out for part of the day. So for them, they need to have some place that's luxurious. They can just sit outside and have a balcony and maybe look at the beach from a distance. That's their dream. So they have totally different expectations about what the business will provide. So when you look at the reviews, you can get some good information about customers' feedback, but also you have to think about what these customers actually expect, right? What are some features of a customer-focused business? They understand the importance of a good first impression. So when you first greet the customer, like I said before, acknowledgement is very important. When you come into a business and no one looks at you, you could just walk out and you feel like you still have time to get away if you don't like it. If you walk in and someone greets you and says hi as a business, you've already got a hook in them, right? They're kind of like, oh, they've already interacted with you. Now they're okay to wait, so that's on the good side too. They're comfortable because they know that you know that they're there. But they're also kind of hooked. It's harder for them to walk out the door when they've already been greeted in the first moments. Masa masa! As we know from some sushi restaurants, they have the staff acknowledge that the customer walked into the door when they first come in. And at that point, you're in, right? You're like, oh, I'm in the sushi restaurant. Gives an accurate description of the product or service to customers. That could be through advertising. That could be through information on a website or Amazon. That could be from customer service people. So that, the customer wants to know information, especially if it's about food, right? Maybe there's a health problem they're worried about. Values customers and listens to what they want, not telling them what the business expects. Okay, so if they say to you that they want to have a pizza, they like the idea of this pizza with no mushrooms. It's a good style, but they just don't like mushrooms. And they say, oh, we have to put mushrooms on it. That's the style, we don't change. Okay, well, I'm not ordering it. I can't eat mushrooms, I don't like them, and I'm not gonna eat it. So if the business is only selling what if they can't modify at all, at least in some ways, or adjust, then maybe you're gonna lose customers. Keeps customers fully informed at every stage. That goes with delivery services, that goes with problems, repairs, letting the customer know what's going on. They ask the customers if they understand the requirements and invite questions from the customers. They want customers to ask questions. They want to give feedback. I know Starbucks is pretty good about answering questions about different kinds of coffee, for example. So if I ask them about the coffee of the day, they can mostly tell me about it. Provides options for delivery payments and other requirements. So if there's an air conditioner, for example, most people don't know how to install it. So you might want to have installation services. Somebody was talking about selling aquariums. I don't think I'd be able to go home and set up an aquarium. I really would need help with that. So, provides options for delivery, also payments. So that could be payments like just not cash, credit card, or bank transfer, but also it could mean that you pay every month for 6 months or something like that, if the customer wants to do it that way. And last but not least, ensures that complaints are followed up and resolved. So you can see also on TripAdvisor or on some websites that companies have that the person who is a PR person in that company, the public relations manager, will give feedback to customers who have complaints. They'll say, oh, wow, thank you for your feedback. We're really sorry about your experience. And they'll try to do something to make the person feel better about their bad experience. So responding to people's complaints is also part of a customer focus. So customer focus is about the whole interaction, we call it customer relationship management, CRM, customer relationship management, starts from the beginning and goes all the way till the end of the experience for the customer. Here's another brief on customer profiling. It never hurts to understand that it's called a customer profile. That's what you're building, right? You're building this from your information about your customers. So when you collect information about the customer's feedback about your competition or about the product or people who are consumers of that product, the expectations they have, then you can start to build up some of the things that your customer expects And that, of course, goes into your psychographics. So you have your demographics here, as you can see. And remember, demographics, age, income, family, marital status, occupation. So then you get to, that's pretty easy in most cases. Location, pretty easy. But to understand the lifestyle, people who have young children are very cautious, about their expenditures. The behavior that they have, how often they are interested in buying this product. What they expect from you in terms of I'll give an example, environmental concern. I look at some products and I think, wow, the packaging is just too much. I can't buy it. I cannot buy it. They don't really care enough about the environment. And that could be part of your customer profile. People, if you read any complaints, complaints about packaging, complaints about how to use the product, complaints about storage, complaints about the size of the package, if it's too much and you have to buy too much at one time, maybe you can find a way to beat your competition by understanding that your customers want smaller portions. Oreo in the US is sold in these big bags. Wow, that's kind of expensive. I don't know if it's American Oreos. No, these are not. $12. Why is it $12? Two-pack. What is that? Wow, there's just too many Oreos now. Too many. How did they become, people are trying to make Oreos into some kind of gourmet food now. I think these are the ones they have 10 ounces, they have a lot of cookies. There's 3 rows of cookies in there. That looks pretty good, actually. They have 3 rows of cookies in there, and in China, for example, nobody wants to spend that much money at one time on cookies. So in this case, they just want to buy a small pack, like you buy. You buy just the 1 row, that's 1 row. So instead of buying 3 rows, you buy 1 row. So that's fine. You wouldn't want to pay, what are you going to do with a 50,000 dong package of Oreos that's got 3 rows in it every time? You're not going to buy that. That's for families, right? That makes sense. So why do people buy? The behavior that they buy also includes how much they buy, the portion that they want to consume at any time. And then we have something called buying motives. Buying motives. Let me finish. A customer profile can be developed in greater detail by understanding buying motives. Customers purchase items for a range of different reasons. These initial buying motives are usually there to satisfy some need or want. We saw in the Maslow hierarchy of needs, those people who studied that last year, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think we did look at it, right? So there's just basic physiological needs. So these are often, rational needs at the beginning, food, water, shelter, basics, survival stuff. And then as you go up the hierarchy of needs, you need friendship, love, belonging. That's an emotional need. Then you have, so as you go higher up, you get into more emotional needs, right? Status, self-empowerment, self-actualization. So a lot of the rational needs are at the bottom of the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the emotional ones are at the top. Their initial buying motive is usually to satisfy some kind of need or want. Consumers generally purchase either for a rational or emotional motivation. And their buying patterns can be separated into two main focus areas: rational and emotional. So it is related a little bit to, so we know when we're looking at, most food we buy, why do people eat vegetables? It's like a lot of them don't like vegetables. It's a rational decision. You know that it's healthy for your body, so you do it. When you buy a donut, you're mostly not thinking about health. You're thinking about, that's going to be delicious. That is an emotional buying motive. When you buy a car, you might buy a car because you want to go down the street and have everybody look at you in your car. That's an emotional motive. That's at the higher level of needs. You might want a car that has cheaper gas or it costs less to run the car. And it's more reliable or durable, or it's cheaper to fix, it's easier to fix. Those are all very rational buying motives. Those are reasons are logical to buy the car. So I think we all buy things for both reasons, because we need stuff. When you go and you buy stuff for school, you buy a pen. Maybe you buy the pen because it's got SpongeBob on it, or you maybe buy the pen because it has the best and easiest, when you write with it, it feels very smooth. Feels good. That's emotional. So we have rational and emotional buying motives. In your marketing plan, this will and should feed into the idea of your advertisement. So if your customer is interested in safety in their car or reliability in their car, then your advertisement will focus on the lack of trouble that you have when you have this car. Everybody can fix it, you can stop in the car's in the middle of nowhere, and there's one mechanic in a 100-kilometer radius, and they're like, oh, that's easy to fix, I know that car. Great. So anywhere you are, you can get a repair. Great. Sure, that gives you peace of mind, that gives you some kind of emotional satisfaction, but it's also very convenient. So for the most part, it's a rational buying motive, even if you have a good feeling about that rational motive, right? So anyway, let's look at some of the list of rational and irrational motives. And of course, you can have an emotional motive as well. You have these people who come to you and they try to offer you life insurance, for example, which is mostly a scam. And it's pretty heavy, right? Because life insurance is related to your death. So they come to you with these appeals like, don't leave your family with nothing when you're dead, especially go up to men. We die earlier than women, So what's your wife gonna do after you die? Oh my God, right? This is a strong emotion. It's one of the strongest emotional things that you can face in life. And here you are, and so you need to do this life insurance. We're trying to sell you this so you can have a peace of mind that your family will be taken care of. Doesn't really work that way, but it's really pulling on your emotions. Okay, so the customer is often aware of the specific requirements that they may have for a product or service that they're buying. Their buying motive is pretty conscious. Conscious means they're aware of it and they're clear about it. They know it. And there is a quantifiable reason for the purchase. Quantifiable, okay, so gas efficiency in a car. Durability, I could drop the phone 1,000 times. First iPad can drop it 1,000 times, screen never breaks. Later iPhones, some of them were much easier to break. Reliability, does it always work the way that you want it to work? So that's great. So if you have some people, I would buy a laptop that I know would somehow protect its hard drive, so you don't lose your data. So everything else, okay, some computers will die, it's electronic equipment, you expect something out of them, but they often die. So if they die, at least you want to have some protection on your hard drive, good enough. Ease of use, so how functionally easy it is to use. Can you install it quickly? Does it need other things to work? Like in the Apple iPhone, and you had to get the special toggle at the end in order to plug in headphones or a new power strip, and you have to pay extra money for these things. That's not easy to use. So if there's some, so some computers now, they put it like, they give you Microsoft Word for like 30 days, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's not working anymore. That's annoying. It's kind of tricking me. They know after 30 days you're not going to bring the computer back just because you're supposed to buy software. But it used to be that Microsoft Word was included in the computer. And price, expense. So these are all very rational, logical reasons why people buy things. Here's an example. Jess was searching online shopping sites for an at-home coffee machine. She found 2 different models that she perceived to be of similar quality. In the end, she decided to purchase the model that came with after-sales service and very convenient delivery terms, so she didn't have to go to the shop. These are rational buying motives. Yes, that's a new one. That's a new rational buying motive, is that people now, they don't really worry, they'd rather order at home and have a delivery than have to go to the shop. So it's easier, so people will just use it. So rational buying motives, you can advertise like that. A lot of advertising, sending a package through DHL is like 1, 2, 3. So easy, and that's what they're emphasizing. So let's look at some. So this is rational appeals. Prices, features that you get that are different. Well, let's look at it. Prices, right? Yay! That's why you have to shop here. Always low prices.
Whopper, fries, soda, $10. Someone's gonna get fired.
Fire and Flame Grill, get you 100%.
That's really not very funny, because they don't pay their workers very much, and now they're saying someone's going to get fired because it's so cheap. That's directly saying that the reason why the food is cheap is because we don't pay that much for our workers. Wow, that's amazing.
Then beef Whopper sandwiches, 2 fries and 2 drinks now for just $10. Get the 2 for $10 Whopper meal only at Burger King.
I come inside Burger King and say, we have a 2 for $10. I'm like, what? I can get my brother some too.
Me too. Want a Whopper? Yeah, he wants one. Get 2 100% beef Whopper sandwiches, 2 fries and 2 drinks now for just $10. Get the 2 for $10 Whopper meal only at Burger King.
So they tried to move that to kind of a rational motive, like, oh, I have this brother, I can share. Now I can, not only can I buy for me, I can buy for someone else. Isn't that nice? You can afford to buy a gift.
Is the nature of it. Advertisements using this method are dominated by the traits and attributes of the product or service. These types of ads are very informative and attempt to build a favorable attitude for attributes to trigger a rational purchase. Nature appeals can be
Wrong. This old character uses every day fighting the 5 sides of hair damage. My hair never felt this strong.
Her hair feels strong. It's not gonna fall out. Probably will, but not right now. Because she's using this shampoo. That's kind of an emotional appeal, but it's also talking about it in terms of science. Science is rational. Look at the science behind it. There's some science
We need
here.
a formula with pure keratin. Looks like
Formula, science, molecules,
old keratin that your hair loses every day fighting the
beta carotene.
5 sides of hair damage.
Wow, not too much science, just a little to make you feel that it's rational.
My hair never felt this strong, this silky, or this shiny. 5 problems, 1 solution. Total Repair 5 from L'Oreal Paris.
Jeez, 5 problems, 1 solution. It doesn't get much more rational than that.
Because you're worth it.
Forward march to the next generation and a brand new age. To the future and the future of travel. Introducing the all-new Ford F-150, the first and only pickup with a high-strength, military-grade aluminum alloy body, up to 700 pounds lighter.
It's lighter than the other trucks. So hopefully it gets better gas mileage, and it's still strong though, don't worry. Can still carry everything.
Pickup on the planet. Over 100 patents, so you can work
100 patents. You'd be crazy not to use their technology. Oh my god. What the?
It's smart. And every single square millimeter tougher. Totally.
support their pack.
Great, another wedding. But I'm a bridesmaid in 3.
Oh.
It's okay. I joined 14 online dating sites.
14? Is one of them eHarmony?
I don't have time for all those eHarmony questions.
Beth, you went faster forever. Only eHarmony.com takes the time to find you that perfect someone.
Another invite. Oh, here's the dress.
eHarmony.com.
I'm there.
My name is Lee.
She's gonna find a husband on a website. Okay. They have some nice examples on here, but the writing and the speech are quite bad, so you can use it for examples only. Then we get to emotional. Let's look at emotional appeals.
Hello, welcome back. This is Caroline Dunhee from Client Almighty, and today's video I'm going to talk about how to get clients for real using emotional marketing. I finally come to a conclusion, and you may not like it. The reason you're not getting enough clients is because you're not giving them what they want. In your efforts to work out how to get clients, you're too focused on what you do. Too focused on the magnificence of your service. You're so intent on giving prospects and clients what you think they need that you forgot to ask what they want. The secret of how to get clients is this. People actually don't buy what they need, they buy what they want. And we all know that what we want is not always logical or rational or even good for us. Now seriously, when was the last time you bought a spinach, beetroot and celery smoothie? And you ended up ordering the berry and yogurt one instead? You probably really need the first healthy one, but wanted the sugary goodness of the second. Or then again, maybe that's just me. Moving along. It's easy to pay lip service to the notion of knowing your client. But in every market, you'll always find there's a few agonising problems and unmet needs that none of your competitors have bothered to uncover. People want things to fulfil an emotional need. Do you really think that women buy a $3,000 Gucci handbag because of its features and benefits? Because they need it? Hell no, it fulfills an emotional need. It's a feeling. Now maybe it's a sense of being fabulous, a social status, or an expression of success. Well, hang on, maybe that's just me there. Anyway, we all know intellectually that the same functionality can be derived from, say, a $45, $49 handbag. But why do most girls hanker for a Gucci? Why is Gucci so successful even in these economic times? Because Gucci stands for something. It's a leader in its market, and people want a piece of it because of the way it makes them feel. The brand meets real human needs. Your prospects and clients are looking to be led too. They're out there looking for a champion to stand for something and lead the way. They want to feel as well. Intellect, logic and rationality, they come much later. So, the only question for you is to ask, what real point of difference can I create in my business that connects with the real human desires of my prospects and clients? What do your clients want to feel? Now, seriously, they certainly don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want to hire a consultant today so I can feel good about myself. No. So, to answer this, you really need to listen to your market. Know them and their deepest, darkest secrets. Walk in their shoes and ask the tough questions. Immerse yourself in their world so you can develop your own understanding and insights. Do your clients want more success because they want to feel significant in front of their friends? Or maybe they find meaning in sponsoring a dog shelter in Bali. The question is, do you know? Don't just accept what the rest of the industry believes. Start searching in a different direction for your own answers. Indeed, ask different questions. When thinking about your avatar and their problems, it's too easy to assume you know everything. It's too easy to brush over the groundwork and get started because doing is more fun than planning, but do so at your own peril. Failing to plan is planning to fail. You must research your avatar extensively because the real truth is secreted away. The real issues are not told because they're based in emotion, and talking about emotion makes us feel uncomfortable. Too often we talk in facts and figures, features and benefits, without any genuine point of difference that connects with the emotional needs of our prospects and clients. Effective marketing is emotional marketing that connects to a real point of difference with a real human desire. Stop thinking that you know your market and get out there if you want to understand how to get clients. Ask questions, interview, survey and listen. Listen to 2 ears and use that one mouth sparingly. You might be surprised by what you learn once you've connected with the emotional desires of your avatar or ideal client. Take the leadership position, stand for something, give your prospects and clients a reason to follow you, give them a reason to talk about you. Provide them with the confidence and certainty they crave for fulfilling their emotional needs before you start pitching yet another service, just like everyone else. Are you guilty of simply serving up the same benefits as your competitors? What are the real emotional benefits to your clients? If you like this video, please share. Hit the like button, which is a thumbs up below, and subscribe to our channel. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers!
Doesn't she have a delightful voice? Oh my god. What she's arguing for is what you need to find out about your customers. She's saying that this is something that's going to benefit you, and that people don't buy these bags because they think that it's a logical choice. It's the best bag for carrying the most stuff. Maybe they think so sometimes, but most of the time it's about fashion. So brands are huge. Your brand eventually should have some kind of image that appeals to some emotional character of people. Emotional motives may have more influence on the buying decisions than rational motives. Many customers, well, that's very true. Many customers convince themselves that they have a rational motive. This bag is the best bag for carrying money. But it's also purple to justify an emotional purchase. Emotional buying influences include financial gain, or, I don't think that's well written. Most of the time we think about saving money as a rational motive because we'll have more money later. It's to buy other things. But if you appeal to somebody that, you know, if you buy this lottery ticket, they have lottery ticket advertisements in the US that, you know, you could win $1 billion. Well, if you're poor, I guess that's pretty emotional to imagine that much money. Self-gratification. Self-gratification just means it's delicious. Comfort or convenience. Convenience is more of a rational buying motive. Again, they're really not doing this very well. Comfort, yeah, okay. My hair is better, whatever, to feel satisfaction. Security goes both ways. There's like real rational security, you know, things that you do that actually have influence on your safety and security or your family. And then there's masks. People are buying masks for emotional motives because they want to feel safe from coronavirus. It doesn't work. The masks don't work. But it's okay. They feel better. It's emotional, not rational at all. Science says it doesn't matter. Anyway, for example, let's see. A business will respond to these motives with advertising or marketing that targets a customer's feelings and wants. Products will have an enhanced prestige or advertisements that include a sense of fantasy. It allows the consumer to escape into whatever emotions that they will feel. The emotional influence of advertising can include reminding customers of all the great emotions and freedom. For example, a car buyer can base their decision about on either a rational motive. For example, the car can hold more people. I can drive with 6 people in the car, or a pickup truck can carry more stuff. Or an emotional motive, such as the style, prestige, or the power to attract the opposite sex. That's funny. Owen, let's look at the funny idea. Owen's buying some money. Owen wants to buy some money. Owen is planning on purchasing a new scooter. His final decision is based on an advertisement that he has seen for a particular model that claims that he can ride free and enjoy life on his scooter. That is an emotional buying motive. Okay, so there you go. What would be a rational buying motive? Would be a motorbike that's somehow safer or something. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. There's a few more advertisements. Maybe we can look at one more emotional advertisement. This looks emotional. Who's crying right now? Time to watch, baby. For the last, so you can count off those retirement years. Please don't do that when you come to class next time. It'd be very stressful for me. Okay, anyway, the focus of this lesson is on customer experience and customer focus and why customers buy. And this is why you need to make a survey and try to find out, not just demographic information. A lot of surveys that people make, they just focus on demographics and geographics. Try to find out a little bit more about the reasons why your customer would be interested in the product. Do a little bit more research online and look at the complaints that customers make about other businesses and try to figure out how you can solve those problems in your business. Okay, so have a great day.